Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully you're having a great week. It's a home game here for the PGA Tour in Detroit, so excited for that. But before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist Vokey wedges. And listen, Vokey Design SM9 wedges are a product of superior, handcrafted technology. Each one an instrument of creative control, created from the most advanced materials, engineered to deliver ideal flight and spin, with grinds designed to release your best wedge play possible. There are many ways to make a wedge, but only one way to make a Vokey. Titleist Vokey Design SM9 wedges. Superior handcrafted technology. Find yours at Vokey.com. So yeah, check out Vokey.com. I've been kind of going through playing a lot of SM9. It's been in the rotation a lot still. I know I've got a bunch of new wedges, but I keep going back to playing that D grind and the sand wedge. Just tough to beat for your boy. So I've been playing it a whole lot lately. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good week. And it is a home game. PGA Tour time down at the Rocket Mortgage it's always fun down at Detroit Country Club. So we're I think the Detroit Country. It's funny. There's two clubs in Detroit, and I gotta see if I can never remember which one is the one that hosts the Rocket. So there's the Detroit Golf Club. So is the one that they're hosting. I've been down there. I've got to play the course a couple years ago. We got to play it as a media event day a few months before the event. I think back then it was like the end of July, and we got to play it like end of May. And they were still putting up the grandstands and getting everything built. And it was a whole lot of fun. It's a cool old course. It's short. It's especially for those guys. It's short, and the greens though are pretty treacherous. So they got some undulation, and if you can kind of hit it in some wrong spots, they can definitely jump out and get you. The winning score is going to be like 20 under, 24 under. It's going to be a bloodbath of that poor course. But if you ever get to play it, definitely go do it. It's a cool old track here in Detroit, and a lot of fun. It's a cool old course. I had a great time playing it a couple of years ago. Got to play with Johnny Wonder and Ryan Barath, and the three of us got to go out and play, and we just had fun. It was a fun time to go play, and excited to watch a little bit of it this weekend. So hopefully you'll watch a little bit as well, enjoy it, and I know it's always cool to have a tournament in your hometown to get to go down there. I'm not going down this week. I didn't go down Monday or Tuesday. Well, Monday the course was closed. We had some big storms roll through Metro Detroit, and actually the course had a bunch of trees knocked down. If you went on social media, I think the PGA Tour.com and some other like PGA Tour and a couple other accounts showed some like drone footage of them cleaning up some of these massive trees that fell down and were just all over the course. They were getting them up, grinding them up, getting them out of there so they could get the tournament going. So Monday the course was totally closed. Andrew Tursky and Greg Moore are two guys out on tour who take a lot of photos, get a lot of stories off the tour. They basically said they got emails that don't even come to the course. They're shut down. Nobody's going on. I don't think players even were allowed to go and practice or anything. And it was a crappy day. It was raining and windy, and it was just not a great day anyway. So I think Monday they were totally closed. Tuesday they got to go there. It was a little rainy and all that, but I think it was open. And then today was another practice run today. I'm recording this Wednesday. But I was hoping to get down, and yesterday I got a text to do some dinner and some things, and I just unfortunately have some plans as well this week, so not able to get down there and check it out this year. But I've been down numerous years, and it's always a ton of fun. It's a cool course because it's so compact, like it's in the actual city of Detroit. So on the outside of it is all homes and neighborhoods and whatever. So the grounds aren't vast and huge and massive. Like everything's pretty compact, which is kind of nice because if you get up next to a tee box, you're 5 to 10 feet from the players. You can listen to caddy conversations talking about yardages and different shots, and you get a real kind of like insight into what those players are doing out there, and it's pretty cool. So if you get a chance to go, please go. It's pretty fun. I've been hitting the balls a little bit. Been playing. I actually went and hit balls today. Got fit for a set of irons that you've seen photos of, but you have not got official word on yet, so I'm excited. I got to hit some new irons and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Got to hit a couple different, or basically almost all the irons on the line I got to hit. Had a ton of fun with it. It was cool. Excited. What I got fit into was really fun. Was really cool. So I'm really excited to get those irons. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And then also, I just got done shafting up the Fujikura Axiom shafts. I know I got those in just like last week. I got the whole set in, and I was just debating what iron heads to put them in. And I did. I'm putting them in the Vega Mizar Tours. They're actually right next to me. I glued them up last night. They're ready to go. The Axioms are here. They are cut and everything. They're ready to go. I just got to put grips on them. So they were drying overnight, and it was pretty cool. I think I'm going to do next week's show on building with them, because it's unique, but it's not that difficult or anything like that. But it was kind of cool. It was something unique to build the set, because they don't just, most shafts, it's a 42-inch blank, it's a 2-iron blank, and you just take off a bunch of the tip section to build it. So, a 5-iron you take off, inch and a half, and then 2 inches for the 6-iron, 2.5, 3, and basically by the wedge you're taking off like 4 inches of the tip of the shaft, and then you butt trim it to length. And these is very similar, except they're built in 3 blanks, so they make a long, a mid, and a short. And that way they can kind of keep the Velocore material all through the shaft and keep it consistent. So it's pretty cool, and it still allows you to do the soft step, hard step, all that stuff if you're doing that in terms of playing. But I got these built up; they look really awesome. I just got to toss some grips on them. I will probably do that after I record this podcast, so I have them to play. I'm going to be playing a good amount of golf this weekend, next week. I'm taking all of next week off, 4th of July off. But I'm still going to do a show. I'll have a podcast. I'll probably record it from down where I am, down in Coldwater. But I'm going to play, I think, on Saturday, and then like on Tuesday and Thursday. And I might even go to the range and hit a few balls as well. So these will be down there. I just got to toss some grips on them, and they are ready to go. So excited to hit these. And I hit these irons really well. Just before I pulled them apart, I pulled it out and played with Tursky and hit them pretty good. I am liking these irons a lot, but hit them really good. And of course, after you hit them good, you got to yank the shafts out and put something new in. But yeah, we'll do a show kind of talking about building those things and what went into it, and kind of the outcomes and all that. Because I know people always have questions about moving from steel into graphite in certain heads, and do you run into swing weight problems, and all that different stuff. So we'll do that next week, and I'll have a show. Even though I'll be on vacation, I'll have a show. It may be short, but doing that. So, but we do have some stuff that I've been out playing with. I think I'm going to build. I know that all the hype is about the Ricky putter. I was out there today talking to the guys when I was doing my iron fitting, and they're asking about, do I have a Ricky putter? Do I have an old Jailbird or whatever? And I don't have a Jailbird. I think I had one back in the day, but I probably I sold it off, traded it, whatever I did with it. I still do have a Versa number 7, which isn't the same, but what I think I'm going to do is that I have 2 PXG Bat Attacks. The Bat Attack putter, which kind of looks like the Odyssey number 7, the Fang putter. And I've got them with really heavy weights. They're built up short for me, and I think the one head is like 393 grams. It's really heavy. It's got like twin 17-gram weights and all that. It's a really heavy head. And what I think I'm going to do is one of the shafts I'm going to talk about, I'm going to build up, I think, a longer counterbalanced putter. I just have to get a grip. I got to get a little longer grip. I have a Superstroke Pistol GT 2.0 that I have. I just don't know if it's long enough. I'm going to have to see, because I'm going to have to see how far I choke down, because I'm not going to make it 39 inches. That's just too long. I think I'm going to make it like 36, so that way I play typically a 33-inch putter. It'll sit about 3 inches above the hands, and that shouldn't interfere with my gut or my shirt or jacket or sweater or anything you're wearing. But I've got to mess a little bit with length and see how long I can go. But I'm going to go that. I'm going to put a shaft in there, get it installed up, and then I've got a 50-gram counterweight in the back. I don't know exactly what Wyndham Clark, Ricky, those guys, the counterweight they have. I don't know how heavy it is. I don't know if anybody's been able to get that exact spec out of them, but I know the heads are heavy. They're like, those are heavy Jailbird heads, and then they got lead tape on the bottom. So I think 393 will be pretty close. If I have to, I can toss a little more lead tape on the bottom, but I'm going to build that out to something, like I said, 30, maybe 35, 36 inches, because for me that that'll still have enough room for that the end of the shaft to go counterbalance there, and see how it works. I mean, why not? Let's try it out and see what happens. It worked for Wyndham. It's been working for Ricky. Let's give it a whirl and see if it works for me. And yeah, it's not a jailbird head, but it's still going to be the same principle. And honestly, they're going to release the jailbird, which is awesome. I don't really want to spend $400 on one, and I think they're going to be a couple months out. I think they're kind of pre-ordering them right now, and then they'll come, but they're going to be kind of pre-ordered there. So I'm not going to wait. I'm going to build my own and see how it works, and I might do that today as well, as soon as I'm doing this. And then I'm going to, hopefully you saw it, I did my Q&A, but I did it on the actual Golf WRX channel. Now, as of recording this, haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it on the main Golf WRX channel. For IG to do my Q&A, and if you want to do a Q&A, most weeks I do one at Club Junkie Pod. I usually do for a couple hours, answering equipment questions you guys might have, comparing shafts, talking about different equipment, whatever. Always a lot of fun. So if you want to check that out, please do. And hey, wherever you're listening to the show, whether it's whatever podcast platform, whatever, please like, subscribe, give it the 5 stars, whatever the heck you do. I know it's cheesy, and I absolutely hate asking, but it does really help the algorithms, and it helps us grow and get out there. And any extra exposure is always awesome. So if you can do that, please do. If you want to watch my ugly mug on YouTube, do this. Great, go right ahead. Search Golf WRX Radio, and we've got it there. And then follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. So all those things are available, and I hate to kind of plug stuff, but I feel like in this day and age, you got to do it. You got to do it. So here we are today, another day, and a couple things I've been using, and we're going to jump into one of them, which is going to be there's brand new putters from TaylorMade out, the TaylorMade TP Reserve series, and they look really, really good. I've been rolling the only downside is like the names are kind of tough to remember because they're just numbers, but basically the M47 has been the one I've been rolling lately, and this is kind of the it's a mallet there, kind of half circle. Well, not half circle really, but it's a little bit more textured than, or a little bit more squared off on the sides, but nice little mallet there with a single bend shaft, just a little bit of toe hang, almost face balance, I would say just a couple degrees of toe hang there. But the TP Reserve series, if you haven't seen them yet, fully milled out of 303 stainless steel. They are really nice to look at, really nice milling marks, all that. Interchangeable weights on the sole. Also has a sole plate down there that I'm going to assume maybe either lighter weight steel, aluminum, something like that, and then they can kind of push some more weight out to the edges of the putter. And then the face is all milled with some horizontal lines that are also milled into the putter. And they look pretty good. It's on YouTube. It's not showing up, even though I'm trying to. Apologize there, but it basically kind of looks like a pure roll insert, just milled in, and these kind of micro milling lines are in between. But very good looking putters. The whole line they make. The naming's a little unconventional. Well, not unconventional. It's just different, so it's kind of hard to memorize. So you have like the B11, B13, B29, B31. And the B's are basically stand for blade. I mean, that's not official, but when you look at the head styles, they're all blades. And then when you get into the M series, the M21, 27, 33, 37, and 47 are all mallets. So the 21 and 27 are kind of the fang, number 7 looking mallets. The M33 and 37 are much more rounded mallets. They're almost like kind of semicircles. And then you get into the 47 here, which is a little bit of a kind of a mix of a blade look with mallet kind of weighting and technology. But overall, really a great looking putter. I love that you can kind of see the milling lines and everything. Even the top line, you can see kind of the tiny milling marks into there. Big wide flange, single sight line on this 47. All the sight lines and everything are pretty simple, but they're all single lines. There's nothing here yet with a dot or just a naked putter, anything like that yet. My assumption is that we're going to see probably some type of custom my TP Reserve type program where you're going to probably be able to order some different alignment aids and things like that. Just because I just feel like that's coming. It's just a way, TaylorMade typically works. They like to offer you guys a lot of like custom options, and I feel like this putter is going to be one of those things where you can probably change up some paint fill and all that. Overall, just a really good looking putter. I think really classic shapes, classic designs for the most part. The one, excuse me, the B11, B13, even the B31 are kind of blades that are a little more like a Newport 2, a little more squared off, kind of sharper lines on the shoulders of the bumpers, and then the B29 is going to be a little more rounded, a little more Newport style. I could see where the 29 with a plumber's neck is going to be the one that everybody wants. We're probably going to see it on tour. It's not available at retail yet. But the B29 with a plumber's neck is going to be a hot one if they ever come out with it or give a custom option or whatever. Really good looking putter. It's got a lot of toe hang though with the flow neck. But the one I was hitting here, this 47, really like the look. I really like how it sets up. To my eye, it was kind of the one that kind of looked the best. To be honest, the B31 was probably second for me. The B31 is kind of a wider blade, but the two little bumpers actually protrude past the flange, so it almost has that like Scotty Cameron Jet Setter back when they made that was kind of had the two little bumpers that kind of shot back a little further. Same thing with the B31. At first, I didn't really love the look, but the more I rolled it kind of in the office, the more I did like it as well. But the 47 kind of jumped out at me just because the wider single sight line kind of speaks to me a little bit. I typically line those things up better. It's got just a hair of toe hang, still has that mallet kind of stability to it, and I just like the overall shape. I thought they did a nice job with it. Good roundness to it while still having a very single kind of line as the top line, and then the back of it squares as well and runs parallel. Just a clean look. Two pretty meaty shoulders or bumpers on the inside, and then two smaller bumpers on the outside. But everything's shaped really well. Everything's milled really nicely. Just an overall really high quality looking piece. Cover's really nice. It's actually on the blade here, or on the mallet here. It is actually, and all of them are magnetic closures, which is really nice. I don't know how the Velcro anymore survives, because magnetic is just so much better. But magnetic covers, they have a little kind of a R Reserve etched in or stitched into them. This one has kind of a perforated leather on the back side, and then just a regular leather on the outside. Little TaylorMade logo and TaylorMade etched in the back, or sewn in, stitched in the back. But overall, good looking cover. Seems like it's really nice. I don't know if it's actual real leather or not, but it definitely feels like it's quality. Has some good padding to it, and the soft kind of felt liner inside. So overall, really nice, and I love the fact that it's magnetic, because then you can walk over to your golf cart to get your putter out, and if somebody's hitting their shot around the green, whatever, you don't have to worry about waiting till they're done to rip the Velcro off and all that. You can just walk over and get your putter out. But the cover's really nice. Putter overall really nice looking, really milled really nicely, and out of the box, the look, everything really nice. I think they did a nice job. I like the kind of I want to call it cursive, but the R on the back is just kind of that more elegant look than the typical, say, TaylorMade logo. Like the design a whole lot, like the whole package they put together on looks, and then again, just a kind of a stepless steel shaft with the Reserve logo on it, and then lambkin deep edge cord grips with the TaylorMade logo on them, which I love. The cord's my favorite, but I'll take a deep edged any day. They just fit in my hand really well, and I've just been a big fan of them for a while. So overall, right out of the box, I'm really liking them. So the 47 out on the course, really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, more than I thought I would. Yeah, when I first got them, I was kind of struggling to find the one that suited me the best, but again, the 47 looked the best. And out on the course, honestly, really impressed with how they felt. The sound and feel on these things is really good, and I think the milled lines on there, there's less surface area, so it kind of softens up the feel, but there's still enough kind of crispness to have a good responsiveness. When you hit it off a little bit off the toe, a little off the heel, anywhere like outside of center, you get kind of a really nice little feedback that's just a hair firmer. Stuff struck on the center, extremely soft, very muted, extremely soft, and then you get just a little bit of audible click just out of center that you actually can tell, hey, I missed it off the toe, missed off the heel, anything like that. But really like the feel of it. Surprisingly, I don't know why I didn't expect them to be that soft, but they really are. I putted around kind of with, I think we got 4 models in, a couple blades and a couple mallets, and kind of in the office putted with them. This one I had on the course, and I played, like 27 holes with, something like that. And then some practice green time as well with this 47. So yeah, feel really, really good. But they all really have this soft feel to them. And I think this face, just gives them a much softer feel than you would expect, without being mushy, like some inserts are. I know some inserts people just get they get too soft, and people don't like that they can't really feel or hear the contact that they made. These ones here, I feel like, give just a kind of a perfect amount of feedback. I think they really kind of nailed the sound and feel with these, and I think it's a combination of big grooves in there, and then those kind of micro kind of milling lines in between each one of those big grooves. And I think just that the way they've done that gives off just a really well balanced sound and feel that I didn't expect out of this putter. But sound and feel is really good. Even on long putts, when you're really hitting the ball firmer, you'll still kind of have that soft feel, get a good sound to it, and I think a lot of people are going to find these things really pleasant to the ear and the hands as they use them. Roll on the ball is extremely good as well. They don't advertise that these are like true roll insert that's milled in here, so they don't say that the angles or on the grooves or anything like that are different, but they do put a really good roll in the ball. I mean, you're playing earlier this week, I played with Tursky early in the morning. We played on some greens that had a little moisture still on them. And when you looked at the kind of the line of where the ball traveled, there was, just almost zero hop and skidding. The ball just almost immediately went to kind of a forward roll. And at first, some short putts, it kind of took me a little bit of getting used to that. To me, that kind of style always, I feel like the ball comes off just like a touch hotter when it doesn't have any of that hop or skip to it or anything. And I felt like the first few kind of, I won't say super short, but kind of those mid-range, short to mid-range putts where you're looking at 5 to 10 feet. I felt like the stuff closer to 5, the ball would kind of jump off a little bit and kind of take off. And I was hitting things a little bit further beyond the hole than I felt like I did with other putters. With my Gamer Bettinardi 8 wide, BB 8 wide, I felt like this thing was going just a little bit farther. And it didn't take long to dial that in, to know that, you could take just a little less on the stroke. But the first few putts, especially under 10 feet, I really did feel like this put like a much better roll at longer lengths. My lag putting is, especially this year, been pretty much atrocious, and I didn't feel like I noticed that distance gap as much, or that distance difference as much as I did with those shorter putts. But once you got used to it, and again, it was kind of those first maybe 5 putts on the practice green that I really noticed it, and it kind of was like, whoa, this is going. And then after that, I kind of dialed it back and was able to really, really kind of find a comfortable spot to be in with distance control on it. So the first few putts when you go out and roll this, maybe you'll see something similar. Maybe if you're somebody who uses, another TaylorMade putter on the regular, or some other type of putter that has, these high technology grooves that puts that better forward roll on, maybe you notice it less than I did, and it may be even, you may not have no time period where you need to kind of dial it in or have that learning curve. But for me, it did take a little bit. Overall, the putter does I do have to say. So these things here, they sent us one of the mallets as head only. So this is the B29, which again kind of has that Newport 2 look, but with kind of a flow neck, and really good looking putter. But I did pop the weights out of this thing just to see what the head weight was, and with no weights whatsoever, this thing comes in at 328 grams. And then they're making, this one came with 7.5 gram weight, so add another 15 grams, and that one's right at 340. Was it 343? This one here has 12 gram weights. So if this mallet's the same weight as the blade, I don't know. I haven't pulled the shaft off this thing to try that, but if the mallet's the same thing, you're basically at 350 or this would be 24 grams, so you're at 352 grams. So head weights are going to be pretty average. I wouldn't say they're crazy heavy. And I think from what I've seen in the putters that they sent, there was 7.5, 10 gram, and 12 gram weights that all came in some of these heads. So hopefully they'll make these weights available, and you can kind of buy whatever you need to dial in the specific weight you want. Maybe they'll make some heavier ones as well for some people who like, really heavy putters. But the only other interesting thing is that these are not, they're kind of torque screws that go into them, but they are not the same size as like your driver wrench. They're definitely smaller. I now, as saying this, I'm looking at the screwdriver I used on my bench to take these things off. I want to say they're like T15s, but I have to double check that. But they're definitely smaller than the TaylorMade wrench for drivers, hybrids, fairways, anything like that. It's a smaller Torx head, and I think it's a T15. I may be wrong on that, but overall on the course, again, feel sound, loved it. I thought they were really, really spectacular. And I know feel and sound is subjective, so some people may go putt with it and find it either firmer or softer than I think, which may be better or worse than my description. But I thought the feel and sound were really, really good. I really enjoyed, how these things felt, especially on well-struck putts. They just, I don't know, it's something about that soft kind of little pop off the face that you just feel like you struck a great putt, and it kind of gives you a little more confidence that, hey, maybe you're going to make this putt. On off-center putts, the mallet here, the M47, really stable. I mean, stuff stayed on line really, really well. And for whatever reason, I think, going from some putters that are heavier to this lighter one, again, took me a little bit of adjustment just because of the lighter weight. That I was kind of hitting it a little bit all over the face when I first started kind of using it, and I was hitting a lot of putts, off the toe, a few off the heel, but I was more kind of toeing it, and the directional side of it was really good. The ball stayed on line. It went basically right on the line that I picked. It didn't really waver much at all. Even on the heel side, ball stayed on line really well. And the distance loss was pretty minimal. I mean, I would come up short. My miss this year has kind of been short putts anyway. I've been leaving everything kind of below the hole. And missing it, even far off of the toe, you'd get that click, the ball would go, and one, you'd be kind of surprised that it stayed on line as well as it did. And two, the distance control was still pretty good. It would come up short of target, but you would still hit a pretty darn good putt. So even if you did kind of really hit it poorly and miss it off the toe, miss it off the heel, you're going to have a decent putt that, while it may not go in, you shouldn't have to worry too much about, a 3-putt or, a 5-footer coming back, or, something that goes off way to the right or left because of the miss. I think they are pretty stable. And again, I think it's because this sole might be kind of like, especially the mallet's kind of milled out, and maybe some of that weight added to the outside of the putter, but seemed to be very stable. Like I said, little lighter than I'm typically used to recently, but just an overall really good putter, and something that I enjoyed putting with. I really liked it. I was actually playing it. This is a 34-inch putter, and I kind of kept it there. I didn't even go cut it down. I would choke down a little bit or play it full, and overall just really liked it. I think they did a solid job with these putters. I think they're really good feeling, and I think these are something that if you're in the market for kind of an all milled premium putter, they're definitely worth checking out. I can't wait to see if we get an interchangeable weight kit with some other weights that I haven't seen yet. Maybe some stuff even heavier in that maybe 20 gram range or something like that, where if somebody wants to get into that, making a heavy head counterbalanced or making a longer putter or something like that they can really add some headweight to. Hopefully we'll see some of those. Other interesting thing that I saw, when you pull the weights out, there is basically a like foil in the inside the cavity of where the weights are. Like, it's all milled in there, but there's like almost like a little bit of foil or something in there, and it seems to be like foamish or something like that. So I think that is to make sure that reducing vibration from the weights if you're putting them in there, and then also maybe it keeps a little pressure on them to stop them from coming loose or anything like that. But it's kind of interesting to see inside the cavity there. But yeah, TaylorMade did a great job. The TP Reserve, really cool design. Like what they did. Again, the blades, I really like kind of the cavity. It's just a cool, milled out cavity with a little R in it. I think it's just it's pretty subtle. A lot of them have like just the little TaylorMade logo on the heel. But just overall, really nice putters that have a great feel and a good sound and good shape. I know I've seen some rumblings out there about the price. I mean, they are $399, so they're $400, which isn't cheap. I will admit that, but they are really high quality putters, and I think there's a lot of other putters out there that are similar in terms of being solid milled stainless steel, and they're probably in a similar price range. So I don't think TaylorMade's too far off with these putters. But the TP Reserve, really, really cool. Really like the look. Really like the feel and sound and all that. I'm hoping they do well. So maybe we'll even see some different models come out. Because like I said, I would love to see this B29 with a plumber's neck on it. I think that would be a great putter. I think a lot of people would love that style, that kind of Newport style. And then also, who knows, maybe some other neck options in some of these putters just to kind of mess with the different toe hang and all that. And then maybe we'll see a custom shop or some type of my TP Reserve type program where you can kind of order different necks and different finishes. Like do one in black would be kind of cool, but doing something like that would be pretty awesome. So TaylorMadeGolf.com. Check out the TP Reserve. I think they did a great job. See what the head shapes that are out there. See what you like. See what you don't like. But there's a kind of a new game in town when it comes to fully milled putters, and TaylorMade did a nice job with them. So check those out and give them a roll if you're in a shop that's got them, and check them out because I think they did a really, really nice job with them. So that's what I've got for those. And the next thing we'll talk about, which is going to go with putters, because I've been messing with a lot of putter shafts lately, and another one is here to be messed with. So we are talking with about Nippon and the NS Pro putter shaft. So the NS Pro putter shaft is brand new from them. It is a kind of a premium steel putter shaft that they're making, done in 3 different weights. So you're going to get a 120, a 140, or a 160 gram weight in these shafts. They're done in a very cool, as they call it, luxury silver finish, which actually is pretty cool. I believe it is painted on here, and it's it basically, they say this plating is kind of helps with alignment and stroke, and it also addresses some environmental issues in terms of plating shafts and coloring shafts. So it's kind of a fine matte finish. It's not brushed like an old Project X or something like that, but it's definitely like a matte silver finish. But it says, Nippon says through their testing, it improves alignment and stroke focus with this kind of matte color instead of, say, regular chrome or some other colors. And then this plating is more environmentally friendly as well, which Nippon has been trying to focus on more and more, which is pretty cool. I love the color. I think it actually is really awesome. I actually think it matches with the B29, these TaylorMade putters, really, really well. I was just kind of putting them together as I was getting ready to record my show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see as I put this up here, the finishes between this and the new TP Reserve are really, really close. It's pretty cool. So I might have to toss one in one of these TP Reserve putters because it does match up really, really well. Color-wise, I love it. I love the color. I think they look really good. And then they're pretty simple. On the back side, they've just got the NS Pro logo with a little kind of markings around it, or a little kind of hash lines around it. And the 120 gram is a green color. This is the 140 in my hands, which is kind of a gray color. And then the 160 is a black logo on there. So that's all that's on the putter shaft. That's it. There's nothing crazy. They don't come in wild different colors. They're just, this is the one finish, and just the logos are a little different. So the different weights, I was talking to the guys in Nippon, the different weights basically are, built around stability and what you're looking for out of your putter. The lighter weight, the 120, is pretty similar to what what a standard shaft would be. They're pretty much the standard shaft. 120 is about the gram weight you're going to have, and that's it. And then with everything else, the heavier weights, they're basically built around being more stable for not only weight to add some stability and add a different feel, but also there's more metal involved in them, so they're a little bit stiffer, a little bit more, a little bit less bend to them, a little bit less flex, and so they're going to offer two different feels. I've been messing around with the 160 and the 120. And this is the 140, which I have not tossed in a putter yet, but I wanted to go kind of both extremes to do my review. And then the 140, I think is going to be built into the Ricky Fowler style long shaft, so which would be pretty cool. I can't wait to kind of do that. It should be pretty awesome. I really want to build this bad boy up, so it should be pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically these things are brand new, built to have a firmer putter structure, and also they do have the metal they're built into. This thing does kind of improve feedback as well. It's supposed to kind of take away certain vibrations, unnecessary ones, and leave the more necessary vibration wavelengths through the putting at impact. So I put the heavyweight one in. What putter was it? Right out of the gate, I put it in. I put it in the Odyssey Tri-Hot 5K that I had. I put the 160 because I wanted to put that in there. I want to see what this really heavy shaft does. Toss it in that head, which is a little lighter. I don't know the exact weight. Again, I should have measured it when I pulled it apart, but I put it in there, and it was almost a little too heavy. I felt like I lost a little of the feel of the head. There's too much weight in it, so I pulled that shaft out and put it into the Bat Attack right now. So it's in there, 33 inches with a lambkin deep edge cord on it, and in that head it was so much better. I think you need, at that 160 gram, you probably do need a little more head weight, and again, it's all going to depend on each player. Everybody's going to be a little more everybody's a little different about how they feel with their putters. For me, I put in the Bat Attack, huge difference, liked it immediately. I kind of struggled with it in the 5K, just because I kind of struggled to feel kind of where the head was at through the stroke. Bat Attack, boom, it felt great. And then the 120, put that in the 5K, which again, like I told you in past things, I've put, I think at least 4 or 5 shafts in that thing so far this year. But put that in there, and again, that made it perfect for me. The 120 and that head weight, which again I think is going to be like 350 to 360, really worked well. Whereas the 160, I needed to put it in a heavier head. But the 160 gram, with that one in the Bat Attack head, I did really like the feel of it. It's definitely stiffer. It's got a little bit of play, kind of like the KBS GPS shaft. It's not the craziest, stiffest shaft out there. It still has a little bit of flex, a little bit of feel to it, but it is definitely more stout than probably any other steel shaft I've put in a putter. It's definitely stout. It's definitely got some flex. Like the 140 here, you can, if you're watching YouTube, you can see there's a little bit of flex to it. The 160 is just a little bit stiffer, but that weight does kind of help with tempo. You're looking at a very heavy putter with a 160 gram head, 393 gram head, 160 gram shaft, and a grip. It kind of did slow your tempo down a little bit. You weren't taking it away quick. You were bringing it through kind of on a pretty even tempo, and it stayed really stable. Even with that heavy head, that 160 never felt like it was overwhelmed. You never looked down and felt like you were watching the head flex through the stroke or anything. Even on long lag putts or you're hitting a little harder, that shaft kept that head right where it needed to be, and felt really, really kind of in place with that heavier head. And I liked the feel of it a lot. The feel on it was really good. Again, not as much as graphite, but it did feel like it kind of softened that putter up just a touch, just kind of muted a little bit of sound out of it and took just a little bit of that vibration away from your hands from the stock steel shaft that was in that head before. If you're somebody who you want kind of a stiffer, stable shaft, you're not looking to spend graphite money, these NS Pros are really, really good. That 160, for me, I needed it in a heavy head, but I think it works really well. It's ultra stable. It always felt like you knew where the head was through the stroke. It always felt square to the target. You never felt like that head was going to move in any way where it would be, a hair more open or closed or anything like that. You never felt like you had to, make sure to release it to keep it square to target, as you came into impact. It was always just right there. And the same thing with the 120. When I put it in that Tri-Hot head, really, really good. It matched up really well. I mean, that's a stable head to begin with, and then you throw in this shaft, and again, probably just about as stiff as the Stroke Lab that came out of that. Probably just as stiff as that. Just a little bit of play, but the feel on it just a touch more crisp. If you're somebody who, I could see where like a Tri-Hot with the insert, the white hot insert, going to a graphite shaft or something like that, it just almost gets a little too soft. This could bring back a little bit of that vibration, a little bit of that touch and feel for those players who don't want to go ultra soft, but still want a stiffer, more controlled, more stable steel shaft or shaft in general in their putter. I can see where the NS Pro fits that profile really, really well. And I'm not 100% sure on the price on these, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say they're probably far, far less expensive than the graphite options that are out there. But and the look, the kind of luxury silver, the paint on this looks really awesome. It matched up really well in both heads being black, and having this in there, that matte finish just looks really good. The 120, like I said, I really liked in the 5K. I thought it offered just that, just enough flex where it gave you a little more feel back, where the 160 was pretty stout, or moving to some of these, ultra stiff graphite shafts, you kind of, maybe in a sense, lose a little bit of the feel of the head through the stroke. That the 120 had a really good feel to it. Excuse me, we're having a ozone action day here in Metro Detroit because of all the unfortunate wildfires in Canada. So literally got up this morning and there was smoke like outside, like it was gray outside, which was crazy. But and the longer I talk, the more I'm getting like dried out from it. But these things here, they offer them in 355 and 370 tips, so all three weights you can get, and they offer all three weights and all three, 2 tips, all 3 weights, and just a great little option there. I think the feel on them is fantastic. I like it better than, most other steel shafts. I just actually reshafted a putter, a TaylorMade Spider for a friend of mine, and I was putting around with it down here, and just the stock steel shaft in it just didn't have the same, kind of feel as these do. These do really, I feel like, upgrade your putter shaft in terms of feel, and they definitely are a little bit stiffer, so they add some of that stability to it without having to cost hundreds of dollars to do so. But I think Nippon did a nice thing here. I think the 120 is going to be super popular for people just standard heads. Then you have the 140 if maybe you play something, in that 360, 370 gram, maybe 380 gram head, want something a little bit heavier, and then the 160 for, if you're playing a really heavy putter, or maybe building something up that you want to be ultra heavy or something like that. All 3 weights, and they're basically just, for your preference on what you like the feel of, as well as, how much stability and how much stiffness do you want out of your putter shaft. So the NS Pro putter shaft from Nippon, I think they did a great job with it. Again, I really like it. I mean, I know there was, some comments on like Instagram that are like, oh, you like everything and all that. Well, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So, but I'm a big fan of these shafts. Like I said, this 140 I think is going to go into that bat attack head at a much longer length, and we're going to build up, a little Ricky style putter. But I think we're going to use this bad boy for doing that. So, if you want to go check these things out, you can go to nipponshaft.com. Go check out the NS Pro putter shaft. 3 different weights, and it's funny when you pick them up, like if you're able, like I had all 3, when they showed up, and I pulled them out of the box, but holding the 120, the 140, and the 160, the 160 felt like a brick compared to the 120. It was just really amazing how much heavier they do get in those 40 grams. It's a lot when it's just a shaft. So very cool. Like being able to putt with these. Really enjoyed the stability and the and the feel that these things offered. Really, really good. So, nipponshaft.com. Check out the NS Pro putter shaft in whatever weight you may desire. So, I know you heard that thing click on. That is my dehumidifier in my basement. I forgot to turn it off, so I apologize that you had to hear the humming of that thing go. It clicked on, and I realized, that I never shut that thing on when I should have. It's one of those things I kind of forget for these days. But anyway, that's the show. That's all I've got today. Hopefully you guys have a good one. Again, I'm going to have a show next week, even though I'll be out of town. But hopefully you guys get out, play some golf. And tonight, I know this is Wednesday, I get the draft. We're going for the draft of my guys' golf trip. It is the Sragwa draft. and myself and a gentleman named Wes. Him and I are captains this year, so we will be picking our teams this evening and getting that started off. So a lot of excitement there. A lot of guys excited to get that roll and see what team they're on. And then they'll know which group of people they can talk smack to for the next month before we go on this trip. So excited. I'll talk about that maybe next week as well. Pretty excited. I'll let you know my details, how I feel about my team, and it should be a lot of fun. First week in August, it's going to be a good one. So anyway, hopefully you guys have a good week, good weekend. Watch some of the Rocket Mortgage and get out and play some golf. But that's all I've got. Have a good weekend. We'll talk next week.